Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of the Final Fantasy Legend. When we last left off, we're here in the last floor of Sei-Ryu's castle, the underground castle. So, almost at him, so, or his room. But, looks like we got more cactuses blocking our way. So, this is another area where we're going to, you're going to need that blue key. So, otherwise it's back to the first floor to pick up that blue key. Because this room right here that we're about to enter, yep, the door is locked. Now once you use the blue key there, we're pretty much done, so. Hey, there's like a row of orbs, and there's another row of orbs, a horizontal and a vertical. Remember that clue. You have to remember where they cross. Now, if you touch a fake orb, you're going to get into an automatic fight with these atom crabs, so. That's a good place to grind if you want to, because they're worth 400 gold, so. Get some stronger meat, because it's a tougher monster, but we don't want any meat, so. Now, the horizontal line was 3 down from the top, so. We just face that one, touch it, and we got Sei-Ryu appears, who really valued that red orb. It's pretty funny because you see his sprite actually has a little orb there in his left hand, so that's pretty neat attention to detail. Sei-Ryu is the blue dragon, and he represents the direction east, the season of spring, the color blue-green, and the element of wood. So, not too difficult of a boss. Taking him down pretty easy there with our agility-based weapons. We pick up his meat, and if we touch the orb again, we'll get warped right outside his castle and get taken back to the floating island. So. There's an enemy I want to meet down here. It's pretty common in the tunnel system, so I'm gonna just head down into the tunnel system real quick, find that enemy, like I said, just to fill out my bestiary. So we'll get to fight some of these guys here and maybe get some stat ups for mutants. So, unfortunately, it doesn't tell you what stats you gain for your mutants, or if it gains any abilities. That's one of the quality of life improvements that the Wonder Swan Color remake does. It will let you know, like, what stats a mutant may gain during a battle, if their ability changes. This way, the only way you can know for sure in this version is to basically check after each and every battle, so. I'm not gonna worry about that, so. The game's not too difficult that you need to, like, you know, save scum for, you know, a good ability, or that you need a good ability to, you know, potentially beat the game. So. Yeah, our human Prin can pretty much carry the party for the most part, with that, basically maxed out agility now coming up, and pretty soon she'll be able to max out her strength. And in the next we'll also be able to get, hit point 400s to get health much higher, so. Here we go, we got the griffins, so. For some strange reason, the griffin enemies are, and the ones that share that sprite of the griffin on the right there, are, lizard enemies. So, But also the piranha is also another new enemy here. So, like most water enemies, they are strong against fire, so fire won't do any damage to them, but weak against electricity, so. And those are like your thunder spells, so. And they're also weak against Prin's rapier. So, alright, we got that enemy here. Now let's head back to the surface. The game really doesn't tell you what you need to do at this point. But if we try to go down here without the air seed, I can't breathe, and we get pushed back to the surface, so. But, I guess the only clue that we kind of have is, remember what the man in the top hat said, seek out the old man. Well, we already talked with him earlier, and he told us about the air seed. Well, now that we've finished up the everything we need to do under the ocean, maybe he has some new advice for us. So we head to the northeast town, then head south of it, and we come across his little hut. So now if we went straight up, there's a table blocking the way, so we want to head up the second thing. Yeah, see, there's that table there. Head up the second, then left, all the way over to the trees, then we can talk with him. It's a riddle. What can you get for 2 long swords, 3 gold helms, and 4 potions? Look for the answer to the riddle and bring it to me. And this is where we bought that battle sword. If you take all those items and add them up, you get the price of the battle sword, which I think is $9.89. So we just come back here. We have to leave the area, come back with the battle sword. Show it to me. Prin, you have the battle sword. The right answer. I'll give you the reward. And we get the blue orb. And if we use the blue orb, it combines with the red orb, and then we get the blue sphere. Woohoo! And now we can use that blue sphere, just like we did with the black sphere, and it opens up the door. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to use the sphere in front of the door you want to open. So we've already opened the door, so when we head back to the tower, that door will be unlocked. So now in the Japanese version, and then also on the WonderSwan Color remake, which also was only released over in Japan, but although there was a fan's translation available online, there's actually more than one riddle. So I guess, but to make things easier for the American audience, they just removed all the riddles except for that one, the battle sword riddle. Yeah, it seems that a lot of companies, you know, kind of made games a little easier in America. So, which is why the America's Super Mario Bros. 2 is different than the Mario 2 in Japan. Mario 2, the one that was released in America, was a reskin of a game called Doku Doku Panic, which is kind of like an Arabian Night type theme game. It was reskinned with Mario characters, where in Japan they got the game that would eventually be released with Super Mario All-Stars, The Lost Levels, which basically used the same graphics and engine as the first Mario Brothers game, but was much harder. So yeah, they figured it would be too hard for American audiences, so they changed it up. That's why there's kind of 2 Mario 2s in America, so. But yeah, that was a common thing. A lot of times they'd also, you know, dumb down difficulty, so. But, which is why they, eventually they released, over in America here, Final Fantasy, Mystic Quest. They didn't think that, a lot of American audiences would, you know, understand RPGs or be good at them, so they kind of made like a kiddie RPG, but eventually maybe I'll get to that game too, so. Yeah, the people who made that game also made the 3rd game in this series, the Final Fantasy Legend 3. So there's a lot of similarities in between Final Fantasy Legend 3 and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So, just want to fight some monsters here that are, the main one we want to end up getting is the Clayman. So it's one of what we turned into, what one of our Prins turned into, after eating the Sei-Ryu meat. But Clayman is only, Woodman, I mean, is only available on this floor and in the lobby between, the floor where we entered the water world and, this floor, so. Kind of a rare monster. He's only encountered in 2 areas. I don't know how a Woodman has meat, but oh well. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about the WonderSwan Color remake. The different meat drops that things drop are different. So like a zombie where it drops meat, it's like a foot. You know, like something might looks like a chicken leg or something. Another one looks like a piece that might be like a steak or something. So yeah, the meat drops different based on the monster that drops it. So I'm gonna head up here. We got another side world coming up here, so it's kind of like another side ocean world. But there's we head up to the north here. We're gonna come across like a whole bunch of these fish statues. They're horns of plenty, maybe. And which it's kind of a, it could be potentially a trap. But I'll explain it once we finish off these atom crabs here. These are the same ones that we would have encountered if we, like I said, when we touched the wrong orb back in the underwater castle in Sei-Ryu's room. No. Woo, we'll take them out. So now the far left statue, if we talk with it, why is this statue here? And if we head over to the 6th and talk to it, it tells us that we lose track of time in the tower. If we touch any of the other statues, we get a free X potion. However, you can only do that 3 times. If you do it, you know, 4 or more times, you'll end up getting into a battle, usually with these manticores and wizard enemies. So, once again, another place to grind, but gold isn't all that important anymore. This game is very similar. I mentioned in the last episode some similarities between this game and Final Fantasy II. And another one that is kind of shares is at the beginning in both games you're really strapped for gold, and it's really hard to get all the stuff that you need because monsters are giving so little gold and stuff is so expensive. But then all of a sudden you get to a point where the money just comes pouring in, and you'll have more money than you can ever dream of spending. So, and that's pretty much going to happen in the next world. We're going to get a lot of treasure, next main world I should say, a lot of treasures that are really, that sell for a lot, so they're really expensive, but are pretty useless. So there's no real reason to hold on to them other than to sell them. So, but yeah, that's another thing that the games kind of have in common. Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy Legend 1 here. So, but there's a few enemies that we can want to encounter here in this area here. There's a new one right there, that Catwoman, so didn't want to put its stats up right away. So finish up here. That Colt's not going to be doing too much more damage, but I think I mentioned in an earlier episode, but firearms, their hit percentage is kind of based on your strength. I guess it's, you know, you're able to hold the kick, you know, avoid the kick of the gun. So you're able to hold it steady. So, the 4 fundamentals of basic rifle marksmanship. So, I can't even remember them, so, back when I was in the army. I know breath control, trigger squeeze was one, sight alignment. I don't know what the 4th one was, so. I have not held and shot a gun since I came home from Iraq. So back in 2008, July 2008. So the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division. So alrighty, time to head to the new area here. So let's head on up. And we got a healing pond here over to the right. Now, I made a quick save there. One thing I unfortunately didn't do very well was I should have bought some soft potions we can run into a lot of these Medusa enemies, and one of the things that they can do is they can stone your characters. So, stone, you need a gold needle, and that removes the petrification. So, but yeah, I should have stocked up on a few of them, but I didn't end up doing that. But thankfully, we have a teleport spell that I can go back and grab some if I need it. So. Eye drops are also going to be kind of useful in the upcoming world, and technically even here, because a lot of enemies are also going to be using the blind status, so... And I believe in this game the blind status actually works, unlike in Final Fantasy 1, so... I guess they learned how to correctly code it, so that it decreases the hit percentage that your character has. So once again, walking around here trying to get into some battles so we can farm some enemies that we want to see. But one of the interesting things is stairs in rooms have different encounter tables than the other tiles, like the grass tiles, I guess you would call them, or the normal tiles. Yeah, stairs have their own encounter tables, so... And eventually later on, we'll get to a point in the game where there's kind of escalators, so there'll be an escalator going up and an escalator going down, you know, sometimes often, you know, right next to each other. And, the escalators going up will have a separate set of separate encounter table than the escalator going down. So yeah, it's kind of interesting when you're hunting for, you know, monsters, that you got to be wary on the area that you're stepping. So speaking of areas, if you notice, like as we progress through worlds, like these areas kind of changed. So we were in like the water, like at the first time, it was kind of just I guess, like wooden, bricky, between the world of continent and the water world. And now that we went from the water world, the background here, see in this, like, it kind of looks like kind of coral, or like seaweedish, kind of making the borders. So that's how you can tell when you're getting into a new world. The background of the area will change, so yeah, it's going to be corally until we get to where the third major world would be, so... Here's the enemy we're hunting down, the Serpent. So... speaking of areas and going between worlds, while we were in that one side world, it mentioned that time flows differently in the tower. And I think what that is kind of referring to is that, as we progress up the tower, you'll notice that technology kind of evolves. So the first world was very medieval. We had, you know, kings, you know, armor, shields, swords. Second world was, you know, still kind of, you know, medieval, but maybe more like the colonial era, because, you know, you have like pirates going around, and you kind of associate that with, you know, the Foundation of America, you know, the Barbary Pirates areas, and, you know, the high seas pirating area. So, but, yeah, but then technology seems to advance as we get higher up. So, like in the next world coming up, you'll definitely see a leap. You'll have like flying gliders and stuff like that. So, but before we head to that world, I'm gonna take a little rest here in this little hospital side world. So, once again, if you have a cure on a monster or one of your mutants, that's an ability they can learn as well. You can make sure that you use it before you stay at an inn, because that way, you know, you'll save money. So, and we'll pick up here in our next episode, Leaving the Hospital. Take care, have a good day. Bye!